Let's first talk about what an inverse function is. So an inverse function is basically which does the opposite operation of the main function. For example, we have a function of x which is equals to, let's say, 2x plus 1. So what this function is basically doing, it's multiplying the variable then adding 1 with it. Now if we want to find the inverse function of this one, it's going to do the opposite operation. That means it's going to subtract 1 from the variable then divide it again. So it's just doing the opposite operation of the main function. What the main function is doing, it's multiplying the variable with 2 then adding 1 with it, and the inverse function is doing exactly opposite. It's subtracting 1 from the variable then dividing the whole thing by 2. Now let's put it in numbers. Let's say if I put f of 3, what I'm going to get here is 2 multiplied by 3 plus 1, which is going to give me 7, right? Now let's put that same value in the inverse function. So f inverse of 7. So what I'm going to get here is 7 minus 1 divided by 2. See, it just gave us back the 3 in here. So an inverse function, what it does is the opposite operation of the main function. This is how an inverse function works. Now let's see how we can find inverse of functions. First of all, we have two types. We have linear expressions and quadratic expressions, and we have two different systems for each one of them. First of all, let's find the inverse of linear functions. Let's say we have a function f of x equals 2x plus 1 divided by x minus 4. Okay, we're going to take a random function. Okay, this is linear because the power of x is 1, right? We need to find f inverse of x. We want to find f inverse of x. That means the inverse function. The first thing, we're just going to follow 3 steps. The first step, what you're going to do, you're going to assign a variable for this one. Let's say we just assign that y equals 2x plus 1 divided by x minus 4. That's what we did. In place of f of x, we just took a variable. Now the second step is to interchange x and y. What we're going to do is to put x in place of y and y in place of x. How? We can just write x equals 2y plus 1 divide y minus 4. Again, we just interchanged x and y. X goes in place of y and y goes in place of x. Okay, now step 3, very simple. What we're going to do is we're going to make y the subject of this equation. How can you do that? You can just cross multiply. You're going to get xy minus 4x equals 2y plus 1. As we are trying to make y the subject of the equation, so we are going to take all the y's to the one side. So xy minus 2y equals 1 plus 4x. Now next, we can take out the common y from these two terms. In that case, we're going to get, if you take y, you're going to get x minus 2. And on the right side, you're going to have 1 plus 4x. Now, we can just move this x minus 2 to the right side or divide both sides by x minus 2. Then we're going to get y equals 1 plus 4x divided by x minus 2. Now, this step is very important. And the last thing you need to do is to replace y with f inverse of x. We are going to replace this y with f inverse of x. Now, this is very important because sometimes students just keep the result like this. In that case, you're going to lose marks. So you must replace this y with f inverse of x. And just like that, you have found the inverse of the main function, which is this one, 2x plus 1 divided by x minus 4, and you found the inverse of that function, 1 plus 4x divided by x minus 2. Let's see another example. For the second question, we have another linear function where we have g of x equals to 3x plus 7. Now let's find g inverse of x. Now it's the same method. We're going to do the same thing. Let's first assign y for this one, 3x plus 7, the first step. Then comes the second step. We are going to interchange y and x. So x goes in place of y and y goes in place of x. So x equals 3y plus 7. Then we have to make y the subject of this equation. So we can just put the x on the left side and we'll have 3y. Now y is multiplied. If we just change the side of y, we're going to get y equals x minus 7 divided by 3. Now the very last step, we have to replace y with f inverse of x, or in this case g inverse of x. So g inverse of x is equals to x minus 7 divided by 3. So it's very straightforward for linear functions. You can just follow these steps and you can find inverse of any function pretty easily. Now let's see how we can find inverse of quadratic functions where there are quadratic expressions for any function. Now before that, you need to know how to do completing the square, which is very important because that's what we are going to use. And I have a whole video on completing the square. If you did not watch that video yet, you can just press the I button and watch that video now. Let's jump on our quadratic functions. Now in our example 3, we have a quadratic function. Now we cannot just take y and replace x and y, interchange x and y just to find the inverse function, because we have two variables in there, one with the square term and one with the simple linear term. So we need to follow a different approach. What we're going to do is we're going to use the completing square method, take one variables in our equation, then interchange. First of all, let's see what we can do. Let's assign a value y, assign a variable y, then we can just follow the first step like that, 8x plus 5. Okay, now as we did earlier, we need to interchange x and y. Let's do it. So x, then y squared minus 8y plus 5. Now we cannot make y the subject of this equation that easily. So what can we do? We can do completing the square and find one of the, just bring one variable in there. For that one, if we have a quadratic expression like this, x squared plus bx plus c, there is a formula to find the completing the square term using this one, which is x plus b divided by 2 whole square minus b divided by 2 whole square plus c. We can just use this formula and get our completing square very easily. If you want to understand the theory, you can watch the completing square video. Now let's do it. First of all, x equals, in place of x we have x plus b divided by 2, in place of x we have y, so y. Now what is our b? Our b is minus 8, right? So minus 8 divided by 2 whole square, then we have again minus b divided by 2, so minus 8 divided by 2 whole square plus c. Our c was 5, still 5. Okay, now let's move on. X equals, we know it's going to be 4, y minus 4 whole square minus, this is 4 square plus 5. So it's going to be x equals y minus 4 whole square, just minus 16 plus 5, which is minus 11, right? Okay, now when we are done with this part, we can easily convert it to inverse function. What we need to do to make y the subject of this equation, so minus 11 will become plus 11, so we're going to get x plus 11 equals y minus 4 whole square. We need to remove the square, so we are going to get x plus 11 root over, then you can get y minus 4. Now to find y, you can easily just move x plus 11 and minus 4 to move plus 4. So that's it. But remember, you need to replace the y with inverse function. So you have to write f inverse of x equals root over x plus 11 then plus 4. That's it. That's how you can just follow the completing square and you can easily find the inverse of in any quadratic function. Let's move on to our next example. By the way, if you're facing issues in IGCSE chemistry, I have a whole playlist of IGCSE chemistry materials. You can check out the playlist. You can just press the I button and it will take you to the straight to the playlist. Okay, let's solve our example number 4. Now we have a quadratic function here. Now let's solve it. First of all, we're going to take y for the whole function. So 3x squared minus 12x plus 8. Then what we're going to do is interchange y and x. So we are going to get x equals 3y squared minus 12y plus 8. Now the problem is that we have a 3 in front. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out 3 from the first two terms. So we're going to get y squared minus 4y then plus 8. Okay, remember that we only took 3 out from first two terms, so the last term has nothing to do with this do with this 3. Okay, now we are going to follow the same formula. If we have x squared plus bx plus c, we can write x plus b divided by 2 whole square minus b divided by 2 whole square. Okay, so first of all, what's your b? Your b is minus 4 here, right? Bx is minus 4. So let's follow the method. So what we can do is y plus b divided by 2. B is minus 4. We are going to write it whole square. Then we have minus b divided by 2 whole square. For this one, we don't have a c, so we don't need to write anything here. The c is 0 here. Okay, so it's done. Again, this 8 is outside of the boundary of 3, so it's not included with 3. Okay, next what we can do is we can simply calculate these things. We can write 3 y plus minus will become minus, and 4 divided by 2 is simply 2. So whole square minus, it's also going to be 4. Minus 2 square, which is 4. Okay, plus 8. Now what we want to do is to get this minus 4 out of the 3's boundary, so it will go outside of the bracket. That means we have to multiply with 3. We are going to get 3 multiplied by 1 minus 2 whole square, and then minus 12, because this 12 is not with 3 now. We just multiplied this 3 and 4. Okay, plus 8. Then we are going to get x equals 3 multiplied by y minus 2 whole square, then minus 4. So that's it. Now let's make y the subject of this equation. Now that we have only one variable in there, we can actually make this one a subject. Let's see how we can do that. Okay, this minus 4, we can just take it to the left side and it can be plussed. Okay, added. So x plus 4 equals, we're going to left with 3 multiplied by y minus 2 whole square. Okay, the next thing we should move is 3. So the 3 is multiplied there, we can just write divide. So x plus 4 divided by 3 will be equals to y minus 2 whole square. Now we have to remove the square with square root. So what can we do? We can square root the whole thing. You're going to get a plus minus result. So because plus and minus both are going to the same thing, so x plus 4 divided by 3, now we have y minus 2. Okay, now next thing, the last thing we need to do is to move that minus 2 to the left side. So we're going to get 2 plus minus root over x plus 4 divided by 3. That is equals to y. As I said, you must replace this y with inverse of the function. That means in this case h inverse of x. So we can finally write h inverse of x equals 2 plus minus root over x plus 4 divided by 3. So using these methods and using the steps, you can easily find the inverse of any quadratic function or any linear function. That's it for today. In our next video, we're going to talk about the past paper questions of function, basically inverse function, composite function, and domain and range. Until then, goodbye.